guys, I am PaTricia Elise. I hope y'all are staying cool and having a wonderful day. When I was researching for my last video, I ran across some interesting stuff that I decided to make a video about. From the exact causes of transgenderism not fully being understood by doctors, scientists, to transgender murder victims that are still unidentified, and killers of transgender victims that have not been caught yet. So, and everything in between. I've compiled 20 transgender mysteries that I want to talk about. So stick around because it should be interesting. So number 20, I've got gender dysphoria and like the causes for it. Because I did some reading and this is actually very interesting to me. There's late set gender dysphoria, meaning you get it later in life, and then there's onset gender dysphoria, which is the opposite. You've had it from a very young age. And they know a lot about gender dysphoria, but there's not like a consensus on what exactly causes it. There's a bunch of different things that they speculate cause it, but it's still a mystery why some people get it. At number 19, I read an article that science is still trying to determine whether some people are predispositioned to be this way, like from birth. Like basically, are some people just born this way? And they still don't know. At number 18 is the transgender population. The percentage of how many people are trans. They have some estimates, very, very low estimates. I think I've heard as low as like 1.5%, something like that. But yeah, they don't know exactly how many of us there are. At number 17, I have the murder of Pamela Walton. Pamela Walton was a transgender woman, and on September 25th, 1988, a man in Claremont, Florida found the mummified remains of a woman in a concealed area off the roadway. She was assumed to be a cisgender woman and given the nickname Julie Doe. For 37 years, she remained unidentified until this year. March the 21st this year, they finally identified her and found out that she was a transgender woman. Her killer still remains at large, or dead. At number 16, I have the link between gender and sex. How strong or weak is it exactly? And they just don't know. Number 15, scientists still are not 100% sure what causes us to have different sexual orientations. For instance, gay, lesbian, bisexual. Okay, at number 14, I have the coronavirus gender mystery. And what this is back in 2020, whenever the coronavirus was, the big thing, when it was all over the place, they never could figure out why it seemed like people with more testosterone, males, it affected them a lot more than females, as far as like heart conditions and breathing conditions. And it was something that I don't think to this day they still have not figured out why males are more predispositioned to catch coronavirus and have it affect them worse than females. At number 13, I have male leadership, and this is an article that I read, which is kind of surprising to me, that they are not totally sure why males are usually the de facto, or used to be anyways, the de facto leaders when it came to the sexes, and why the male leadership role even exists, really. They just don't know. Okay, next I have at number 12, and this is a sad one. I have the murder of Jax Grattan. She was a 34-year-old transgender hairstylist. She was last seen leaving her apartment on April the 15th, 2025. Unfortunately, they found her body in an alleyway on June the 6th. And I couldn't find any information about how she died, but she was dead. And it is classified as suspicious. So um, that tells me there was something in the way they found her that was suspicious. So I always hate to hear that. Yeah, as of right now, it is unsolved. Asian Doe is a victim of the Long Island serial killer that they found in April of 2011. To this day, Asian Doe has still not been identified. Hopefully, someday that will change though, and they will get a proper memorial. At number 10, out of all the gender expressions and all the gender identities, non-binary is probably one of the most misunderstood, and they know very little about it. Next we have the shooting death of Daquana Dream Johnson, an African-American transgender woman who was shot and killed on July 5th of this year, 2025. Despite this happening, I think at a party I read, or at a public venue of some kind, the shooting remains unsolved, and I hope that whoever did it is brought to justice. Next, I have an African American unidentified trans woman that they found dead on June the 30th in San Francisco, California. And if you have any information or she looks familiar to you, I will include the number in the description for you to call. Despite extensive studies, science is not really sure why there's such a wide and varied difference between males and females' brains. Why we think so differently sometimes. Number 6, I have the mystery of the female authors who were using male pseudonyms when they write their books. In other words, they're females who write books and then were using male names. I guess maybe to make it easier to get their book published or something. Maybe this was back in the day or something. I couldn't find much information on this. I just thought it was really interesting. So yeah, I have female authors that use male pseudonyms. I don't know if this is something that still happens nowadays a lot or something or whatever, but apparently it was pretty prevalent at some point. Number 5, I have the missing gender data. Okay, so scientists at UC Berkeley were trying to do a study, something gender related, and a whole drive's worth of gender data has mysteriously come up missing. And this was back, I think I read it was like 15, 16 years ago, and it has never been recovered. Number 4, I have the Trans Doe Task Force, which is awesome. I just want to add, I'm so happy. I just saw this today. I had no clue about this, but it's a Facebook group, and they go look unidentified trans deceased people, and or unsolved murders of trans people, and they try to solve them, and I just think that is wonderful. Next, we have the disappearing gender identity. I read an article that scientists are baffled as to why it seems like a very strong gender identity seems to be disappearing, for lack of a better term, nowadays. In other words, why gender is getting more blurred, more fluid, which I'm usually an advocate for. It's really not even that I advocate it. It's just that I just I see it that way more. But yeah, it is still a mystery to science as to why it seems to be happening. And number two, we have the unsolved shooting death of Carmen Wells, a transgender woman in Detroit. She was shot to death May 25th of 2025, and they do not know who killed her. And I hope they figure it out soon. And at number one, why are some people trans? This is a question that science is still asking, despite many theories and many different reasons for people being this way that they know of. The underlying question of why some people are transgender at all, or any kind of alternate gender for that matter, is still a mystery. Will they ever figure it out? Who knows? It's a mystery. So guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye bye.